Hey everyone, welcome to the broom closet. I have another tutorial I'm going to be following today. That is, if the first one hasn't been taken down and I can still do this. I hope to keep going with these because it's interesting to see just how much I don't know regarding watercoloring techniques. Today's tutorial comes from Noelle Curtis, and she is over at noellecurtis.art. And as you can see here, her video is very easy to find on her page, and I'm going to link it below. Today I'm following her cloud study in watercolor, and Noelle starts us off in this video by saying it's not necessarily a tutorial. She just highlights her process and how she accomplishes a lot of the different cloud shapes. She does comment on how much water she is using on the page and what colors and her reasoning behind using these things, but she's really leaving it up to your creative expression most of the time. I thought this time I would try out using a tissue instead of paper towel to lift some of my colors. I didn't realize until recently that the paper towel will occasionally leave its texture behind on the paper, whereas using a tissue gives it a more hazy look. For this first one, Noelle shows us a really simple cloud form and just using blue and the white of the paper. I think there's a little bit of shadow at the end, but it seems to be the hardest one for me for some reason. I didn't like the fact that it was so open, and as you can see, I do a lot of dabbing and a lot of picking up color. For some reason, my clouds got really muddled pretty quickly, so I'm trying to bring back a lot of the highlights. In the end, do I really like how this one turned out? No, but I think I improve as we continue. So this next one, again, she's using a wet on wet technique that I'm following, and there's a gradient much like the one in the previous tutorial I did, when you have to bring two opposing hues together, like a blue and a yellow, without mixing a green in the middle. So as they come together, I'm just using clear water to have them merge in a more natural way, but you can always use paper towel or tissue to pick up any green areas. Now this was a scary part because I have to add purple on top of yellow, so make sure it's 100% dry. I'm just taking loose cloud forms and putting them throughout. I like the way Noelle did a bunch of smaller clouds in the distance to make it look like they're receding. I tend to forget adding little details like that. My shapes sometimes end up being a lot of the same size, so I like that she put that in there to make it look as if they're going back in the point of view. For the third painting, Noelle has us start off with a dry background instead of loading it up with water. And then she makes kind of an abstract cloud shape. Here I'm using my paintbrush to pick up some of the color to make the clouds a little fluffier. And the technique I'm using is just twirling the paintbrush in my fingers, give that a little roll, and it'll pick up the paint from the paper, and it kind of gives it a more natural, organic look. Whatever the color is that Noelle uses for her shadows is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what it is, so I'm just using Payne's Gray for my shadows. And I'm creating a solid shadow shape with that color, and then rinsing my brush off and pulling that color from the outside to give it a softer edge. She uses a light pink or salmon color for a lot of the undersides of these cloud forms. And again, you can use any color to give your cloud a sunset look, but I wanted to stick to her tutorial. And she does stress that make sure your background is completely dry before doing this. I had my hair dryer handy. You don't want your yellow and purple mixing. The last painting was totally different. I don't think I've done a cloud form like this before. It was really cool to give this cloud form a lot of movement. This one was a little trickier just because the color combinations and making sure that the areas that needed to be dry were dry, but you still wanted the soft lines. So I did my best to use a wet brush to blend them together. In Noelle's tutorial, I believe she put in some pine trees in front of these clouds, some pine tree silhouettes, and it made it pop. But I really just wanted to leave those out and have a strictly cloud study in this Strathmore that I'm using. And lastly, I was trying to use this Zig white pen again for some of the highlights, but I think I got carried away. Next time I'll probably just leave it out. And there it is, a cloud study given by Noelle Curtis, attempted by yours truly. I hope you get a chance to visit Noelle over on her channel and enjoy her art. Noelle, thank you for letting me follow along with this. I appreciate you sharing all your knowledge about different art techniques with us, and thank you for visiting the broom closet. Until next time, blessed be.